What if the villain wasn't a villain at all, but the only one brave enough to tell the truth? That's the question Metaphor ReFantazio dares to ask through Count Luis, a man branded as a traitor, a monster, even a tyrant. But what if he's actually the only character willing to confront the truth that everyone else is too afraid to see? What if, in a world built by illusion, Luis's ruthless clarity is the only path forward? Luis doesn't believe in fairy tales. He sees hope, idealism, and faith in broken systems as tools that keep people obedient and not free. He looks at the grand election not as a solution, but as a spectacle, a performance designed to pacify the masses, a way to give people the illusion that they have control, that their world can be saved through polite speeches and good intentions. But to Luis, that's the real lie, not the chaos he creates, but the order people cling to. You can't fix a house that's sinking into rot. You have to tear it down. Luis believes the world is fundamentally broken, not just in structure, but in spirit. It isn't just enough to repaint the walls of a crumbling system. He wants to burn the rot to the ground and rebuild something real, not based on dreams, not based on hope, but based on truth, no matter how painful that truth may actually be. It's not that he doesn't care, it's that he cares too much to lie to the people. He's not heartless like you may think. He cares, he's honest, but he needs to do what he believes needs to be done to become a visionary and to actualize a world that is worth saving in the first place. Luis embraces the idea that pain and suffering are necessary, that real change doesn't come from comfort or idealism, but from struggle, from pressure, from collapse. He believes people grow through facing hard truths, not through hiding in fantasies. The world needs pain to grow, it needs struggle to evolve, and sometimes it needs someone willing to be the villain so others can wake up from their false sense of reality. Let's look at some historical parallels, because this actually happens in the real world as well. Throughout every period of human history, we can find examples. The fall of the Roman Empire, citizens still clung to the illusion that the Senate or the emperors could restore order, but the system was rotting from within. Reform wasn't enough, collapse was inevitable, right? In the Soviet Union, the dreams of equality and prosperity was sold through propaganda, but underneath it was fear, silence, and oppression. People were asked to believe in a system that was actively failing them. Even in modern times, in America, we're told every election is a turning point. Every 4 years, every new face promises change. And yet, poverty persists. Healthcare systems break down. Education decays. Hope is packaged and sold every 4 years while the rot remains untouched. And I can speak for that myself as someone that did go to an underdeveloped high school, or every school for that matter, not seeing any change with any president ever, right? Luis looks at it all and says, let's stop pretending. Let's stop this whole charade. Let's rebuild what has obviously been so far gone. The kingdom in Metaphor might actually look beautiful from a distance, but listen to the people. They're anxious, they're lost, spiritually exhausted, spiritually divided, culturally divided. The grand election itself, what should be a movement, feels like a theater, like cosplay for democracy. Luis calls it out. He refuses to take part in a game where the rules are rigged and the outcome is meaningless. You can't build anything meaningful on a foundation of lies. You can't patch a broken wall and call it a castle. What makes Luis even more powerful is that he owns the weight of his ideology. He doesn't shy away from the consequences of his own actions. When confronted by Stroll about the massacre of his own village, his own family, Luis doesn't deny it. He accepts it as part of the cost of tearing down the old world. He doesn't run from the guilt. He carries it, and he carries it quite well. He is so unapologetic about every single move that he does, and he takes it all in stride because he knows he has a higher purpose, a more important purpose. And while it might sound absolutely insane to a lot of people, sometimes you need to be insane to make a world worth living in. The level of conviction that Count Luis has of accepting that sometimes the world needs to crumble to dust before it can be saved is rare. It's terrifying, but it's also incredibly real. And the closing message I have for you guys is Luis isn't your typical villain. He's a mirror. He forces you to ask yourself, am I brave enough to face the truth? Or do I prefer the comfort of illusion? In a story where fantasy collides with reality, Luis chooses reality even when it hurts, even when it makes him the enemy. And maybe, just maybe, that's exactly what the world needs. If you found yourself agreeing with Luis, or at least understanding him, let me know in the comments below. Is he a villain, or is he the only one who actually sees clarity? Now, I'll say, I was recently inspired to make this after I was playing through the game. In the final boss, I was like, man, I actually don't want to kill this guy, because I actually believe in what he's doing. And while it might sound absolutely insane, it's kind of true. I mean, every single time that we've ever had great reform in our world, we've had to do something absolutely crazy to make that happen, whether it be like the Boston Tea Party, or, you know, I don't know, now I'm blanking, but there's tons of really interesting moments in history where, you know, people had to do something that was absolutely insane and brazen, you know, treacherous, whatever, to get the result done, to get the end result. And it's really interesting to see Luis's perspective and to see him do his best to actualize it. And while it does lead to absolutely terrifying moments, I do think that he actually is right in his views. So, you know, let me know what you guys think, and subscribe to the channel if you made it this far. I'd really appreciate it. Thanks.